All right, how's it going? Today we are going to be coding or continuing our Learn to Earn game, which is a project that a client wanted. Um, they are looking to kind of revolutionize the way we think about engagement of students in classroom settings and whatnot. And the way they want to do that is they want to go and give people challenges that allow them to earn money because people are ultimately motivated, at least the indication. If it's not a passion, it's really all about money, right? Where you go out, go to Harvard, Yale, Stanford, these very, very, very big institutions, not for the fun of it, but because we know that we're going to make money after we actually go ahead and do it. So, a couple things there. Um, and yeah. Uh, so we're going to continue off where we left off. And where we left off really the other day was area that um, involves the blockchain, really. So it's been a very interesting learning experience about Stellar because there's a lot of things that are kind of different in terms of how things operate in the Stellar network. One of the first things I think that's really cool about Stellar is that it doesn't let you really spam it. And that's a very interesting thing. So here's how it works. Here's this thing that I really it's very interesting. But let's imagine that you want to create a wallet. Creating a wallet is really very simple, right? This is what that function looks like. This is the key pair. So this will give you your private and your public key. Now, assuming that they don't repeat and never do repeat, you can create that wallet. Well, you're creating that key pair, but that key pair is not an account or lives on the blockchain. It basically doesn't even exist at that point um, until you actually start doing stuff with it. Now, this is probably true um, for Ethereum, right? Like, let's say you create the wallet, you haven't done anything. It really doesn't live in the blockchain, right? We're not storing every single address in the blockchain until there's actually movement. In the world um, of Ethereum, there's no minimum. You could the moment that even before that wallet's created by you, right? Because you're really not creating it; it already exists in the ethos, but now you're kind of giving it some reference points so that you can access it in the future. Now in Ethereum, you could send tokens to any wallet, no matter whether you activate it or not. And I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, it really has been a spammy scenario, right? Every time you open up your wallet, you're gonna get hit with spam at the levels you've never seen before. Especially when you're an active wallet, you're gonna get all sorts of different tokens that really have nothing to do with what you're doing. And they're just trying to get you to click a link, you know? Um, so that's a bit about how that scenario kind of plays out in the world of Ethereum. Now, in the world of Stellar, according to these documentations, basically, we don't actually have an account, and you cannot send money to an account unless it is activated. So that's a very interesting thing right there. Um, this is where, oh, look at that, Echoes, yes, thank you. This is where this differs a lot from Ethereum, right? Now you actually have to check if the wallet has been activated before sending money to that, or else it's going to fail. So that's a very interesting thing right there. So, and the second thing that's very interesting is that it has to have some sort of minimum balance so that we know that you are a real account. You're not just faking it. You're not just doing some, you know, mass spamming. Hopefully that you're trying to create all the possible versions of wallet, right? So, by nature, if you have a computer that's fast enough, like a quantum computer, you can create all the variations of the keys required for you to, you know, steal people's funds. However, that's not what um, is possible today, at least, right? According to the scientists out there, like you can create all the key pairs if you have at least 1 trillion, you know, supercomputers right now. But maybe a quantum computer is going to break everything, right? I mean, that's possible as well. Um, so okay, so the way that this works is very simple. We're gonna when the user is created, we are going to create a key pair for that user if they don't already have one. All right, um, and we do that to ensure that we create their stuff right off the bat. However, we're not going to activate every user. Creating the key pair costs us nothing. Activating that user's account will. So this particular platform, what it needs is the ability for a person, an admin, to pay out the prizes, right? Manually pay out the prizes, and the ability for the students that are doing the challenges to go ahead and get that money, right? So we have a couple scenarios where we kind of need to support, right? The idea that the user is able to receive money, and the idea that the admin has to, you know, receive money as well, and then get their stuff. So if you are an admin, I can see you becoming a an activated wallet, right? As soon as the as soon as the ability to you that you need to actually go ahead and, you know, send money and activate your account, because each challenge supposedly is going to have some money. So we need to activate that. So organization accounts are able to go ahead and make this the default. They'll be activated as soon as possible. User accounts will not be activated until they're ready to receive money, because we have to tell the person, hey, listen, 1XML is going to stay in that wallet. Um, and yeah, so that should help out. We already have the majority of the stuff needed. So the Stellar API is really cool. I mean, it's very simple. They've done a great job. There's still, you know, a couple things missing there that I felt like the guides should have went through. But overall, it just makes sense, right? So let me break down what's going on here. The Stellar, you create a wallet, and it's not really a wallet the way we think about it. It's really just like it's an information bus, because this wallet is really just a mechanism for you to try and do something, right? For you to go ahead and interact with Anchor or the Stellar network, and then just actually execute the transactions. So this is more similar to the JSON RPC initialization that you kind of create. And then it breaks down, you know, to the kind of helper methods that we need. We got the account helpers. I got the Stellar, which is the network helpers, right? And we're probably going to get into the Anchor stuff later, because I think the Anchor stuff is really nice. So Stellar by itself kind of has a built-in on-ramp and off-ramp, right? It's built into the blockchain, which is really, really cool. I don't know, you know, I haven't tried it out, but I'm looking at the docs. Let me just go docs, Stellar. I'm looking at the docs, right? And it goes into the the details about how your how you can actually deposit. And they have this protocol SEP24 that kind of just gives you a iframe URL so that your user can go through KYC. And apparently, and I'm in Peru right now, right? I'm originally from New York, and I, you know, probably can go back there soon. But it's very interesting because supposedly they actually support Peru. And if you support Peru, you can support pretty much everybody. And so it goes through the KYC stuff, and we haven't got into this thing. It's not part of the original contract, but because it's simple, I might actually just tell the client, hey, listen, let's work something out. Make sure you always get paid for what you do, guys. All right. Um, all right. So we have that. I think this is really cool. Like this ability have it as part of the core product, an on ramp and off ramp. I mean, this is really nice. Like, I have not seen Ethereum or any of the L2s actually even come close to this, right? This idea that you have an on ramp and off ramp right on the blockchain, right on the main developer website of the actual product, which is the blockchain, the network. So that's actually really cool. We got to try it out. Obviously, we don't know. We haven't tested out, but if the docs here are what they say they are, I think everybody's going to have a great time. I think Stellar is really ahead of the game in terms of being able to talk and say, hey, listen, we want you to really succeed in this. We don't want you to go find some third party system that we haven't vetted and we don't know. Um, we have an actual product that is ready with KYC that is supported across 180 countries. That is beautiful. That is really beautiful. We just got to see if it works. That's always a trick, right? You got to make sure it works. But I think Anchor is going to be fine, and we'll have to get to that part. We're not going to implement that part today. We'll probably do that like in the next week or so. We're going to leave that part for last, right? Because it's not really included in the original requirements. So we have to make sure, as part of project management, you got to make sure that, especially when you're working solo, that you don't try to, go to a direction you're not being paid for, right? It's always cool that you can add everything you want to your client projects and everything. But I fell into a trap where I like some animation and I took 3 days to do that animation, but it was nowhere near. I didn't get compensated for that. It's cool to practice these things, but don't get too married about the idea that you're gonna have, all this beautiful animation or this extra thing that's not included. You know, pass it through the client, see if they're willing to pay for it. Chances are they're willing to go, an extra 10% based on this additional feature. But let your work speak for itself. So that means, finish off the work that you're actually supposed to do. In this case, we're going to go back into the neck of the woods here in the code, and we're going to set ourselves up for this. All right. So we know that we're going to create a key pair for each one of the users. So we there's no easy way and mechanism to store the key pairs, right? You'll see a lot of the apps these days, they'll use some third-party service and say, oh, well, listen, use Privy or use Third Web, and we'll take care of this for you. And that's fine. I mean, Third Web, I used Third Web for a lot of products. I fully love them. They need some work on their docs, though, but if you know about Third Web, this is, one of those wallets, and it has a lot of infrastructure. Privy is another one. They have their own wallets, and basically you log in with an email and it's all yours, right? However, here's the problem. It's not really a problem, but both of these services do something under the hood that I'm about to do for the project here in Stellar. And that's, we're going to store the private keys in the database, right? These people are doing the same exact thing. It's not like some magical dark hole that they're going to put their private keys in. It's magically going to appear. There's no quantum computing here. They're not sticking in some new dimension. These people are creating wallets. They are generating private and public keys, and they're sticking it in the wallet. But, it's a dangerous thing to do that, right? You're right. I mean, it is, if you're just sticking it right there. So we have to kind of, take some precautions. One of the things that I'm going to do, and we kind of started hinting here, is that we are going to create an encryption key to encrypt the private keys when they are written to the database. Every time we want to read to the database, we're going to decrypt them. This is going to be an expensive scenario, right? The good news is we know that this the idea that we're going to have to take out the private key is something we're going to do in a fairly small number of ways, right? Number of places, right? Only when a user really creates an action that's actually going to happen. So 99% of the time, we're not actually um, we're not actually using the decrypt method, right? So that saves us a lot of time, saves us a lot of headaches, it saves us a lot of computation. Um, the encryption, you only write it once, really. So we can really, we'll be able to manage that. As far as scaling, I mean, we don't have to really worry about scaling unless if the person has signups, we'll turn this into its own service and call it a day. But until then, I don't really see any reason for that, and it'll just be overkill. So, um, so that takes care of that. So we are going to go ahead and write the code that creates the key pair. I went ahead and updated our schema to support this. So each wallet has a public key and a private key. The private key, we will save it as an encrypted entity, right? So it's going to require this particular thing, and we'll figure out how to rotate this stuff. Like we'll rotate keys for the encryption keys so that we don't really have a static thing. But no solution is perfect. But this is generally how they're storing their stuff. Obviously, there's better things we could do, and if you're a security engineer, feel free to chime in on the chat here and let me know. But generally speaking, this mechanism is fine for this particular project at this particular stage. Obviously, when it grows, you want to go a little further, and we will, but we're just not there yet. So let's go ahead and start the migration. Let's see. Ah, got to start the Docker. I love Docker. I mean, for those of you guys who've been programming for a while, I mean, I'm pretty sure you know about it. Um, but if you remember the days before Docker, the days of Ansible, you would really appreciate how far we've come in the world of developer experience, right? Docker really was a quite a life-changing experience for a lot of people. What's going on? Oh, I got the Docker engine up and running, but I forgot the Docker image container. All right, wallets. Cool. So we have our new migration. See what it does. Created a new model, a new table for the wallet, and yeah, so we can do that. Great. Now, I think, and there's really no real easy way of doing this. We tie the login with the create. It's just one thing, but I mean, we're gonna stick it right here. It's not the cleanest thing, but when a person signs in, we're gonna go ahead and just check that they have all the information that they want, right? Like we have the private and public key, and if we don't, we're gonna create one for them, and then that'll be the date. Nothing magical about it. There, we'll just do it right there. Um, so let's see. Da, 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 da. Yeah, I'm doing this by the way, because when a user logs in, their Google image profile picture may restrict the number of time it gets loaded on your own website. So we just copy that thing and then re-upload it to S3 and then update our database on this. Yeah, let's let's put this here. All right. Actually, this is if the image is here. Let's just turn this into a live function. I'm gonna call it handle on sign or on sign in. Yes. All right, I'm just gonna bring all this information right here. I'll move the file around later, but right now I just wanted to go ahead and just grab this thing. If else, no, let's do that. Boom. Gotta clean my stuff right here. Let's see, what is this? This is a user, or what kind of user is this? This is the user from Auth.js, and this is a what? Profile. This is the profile for OpenID. Okay. Um, can I just grab this one? How do I reference this particular thing? I don't want to rewrite it. All right, I think I got it. Um, so, uh, what was that? Auth config. This is, um, no, I want to go ahead and reveal. All right, looks like it's auth JS core. So let's see. Huh? Am I bugging out here? Next one? Is that a thing? Are you real? No, it's not. So where does it come from? Auth core. Auth. So what? This thing doesn't actually exist? What is this? Oh, cool. Let's see what that does. All right. What about this one? No, it doesn't exist. Hmm. I hate when the types kind of suck. All right. Um. All right. All right. I'm gonna do this way then. All right. Boom. Callback sign in. Here we go. What? Are you kidding me? Let's see. Boom. Callbacks. Are you kidding me? It's here. Oh, okay, okay, okay. I know what's going on. So this is a little quirk about how TypeScript kind of works. In this case, the problem here is that this is an optional field, so we have to kind of claim that it exists. So I think there's a right. All right. This is or undefined. So here is the problem. Let's see what they fix it with AI. Let's see. No, no, no. Oh, there we go. The non-nullable. Here we go. That's what it was. So this non-nullable is an enhancer that kind of tells it, hey, listen, I know this is optional, but it's going to exist. And here we go. Now I have the same exact thing right here. And there you have it. Oh, wait, what's going on here? um, what? No, 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 no. So I hate these types sometimes, like you just want to use this as the type. All right, that does it. Great, 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 great. Um, should we care about it? Yeah, I don't think we're using anything else. So, um, all right, so that takes care of that very nicely. Um, just do an await, sign in. Looking clean. All right, boom. We're just going to go ahead and make the changes here. Um, and we are going to move this all the way to the end. Changes. Great. And then here, we're going to make the changes. Actually, this is going to be a little more like this. What the fuck? All right. Don't want to modify anything else, but all right, here we go. I'm going to turn this into an if statement because it's not mutually exclusive. A user could be logging in and they should be able to see their records. So let's see. Um, boom, boom, boom. Uh, now this user very limited. So we don't have access, and we don't know exactly if they have a private key or public key. So we're gonna have to pull this user before we do anything, right? So db user equal boom, and what we really want to pull uh, oh wait, actually, there we go. We should just pull select wallet. Oh, interesting. uh, include um okay, we have a situation here. Let's look at this. User has a wallet, so let me just check if it's a cache issue. All right, cool. So actually, this is a very interesting one, a very simple one, to be honest. If the user doesn't have a wallet, we can assume that the rest means that we have to create a wallet for them. So mm, start my thing here. All right, so we have a bit of a hiccup here, and that's because in the schema, I may have done something that I didn't want to do. Let's check that out. So we made it so this user ID is a requirement, but this is actually incorrect because there should be and I hate that I call it wallet here, but that's not what Stellar kind of has. Let's see. Um, mm, what's up? Hmm? I'm live. All right. All right. So I'm gonna grab some coffee. But basically, the error was that I made it so that it's a requirement for to have a user ID, where it should really be if or I mean, it should be one or the other. All right. Organization ID. Yep. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna update our. Oh, there we go. So we made it so it's flexible now, right? Basically, we could support a user or an organization because an organization is going to have their own wallet. So better keep an eye out for that one. Let me just respond to the Slack messages. All right, so we have that. We have, well, this has to now do this. Okay. Now, we said we weren't going to store the private key as is, and we're not lying about that. We're going to go ahead and make sure we store it in the correct way and then decrypt it as we need. And we don't even need those changes right there, so it should be fine. And that's going to be from this method, encrypt text. All right. And there we have it, guys. We created a method that goes ahead and handles all the wallet creation stuff. So when the user signs in, we're checking to see if they have a wallet. If they don't have a wallet, we create one for them. And it takes a blink of magic to go ahead and do that. No magic there. All right. Give me a few. I got to clear my throat. All right. So we got that going. Now let's see it in action, right? Let's see if this actually runs all the changes we made. And so far, for context, all we did was install the Stellar SDK. Then we created a few helper methods to go ahead and manage the creation of wallets, the connecting of the wallets to the Stellar network, the activation of a particular wallet. Um, and so we've just got a few helper methods. Nothing really is actually being used other than the piece that when you sign in, we will go through the scenario where we create your wallet for you. So, but we don't activate that account. So keep that in mind. A user can have the key pair, but that wallet doesn't mean it's activated. This is actually different than Ethereum, where Ethereum literally doesn't require any additional activation, right? We're probably going to learn about the different kind of things that you can and cannot do in Stellar. I think they have a much different design than being the absolute open place where anything could happen and then you get robbed. I think I like that a lot. Let's see if it runs. Okay. So we're just going to press the create challenge button. Oh, we got an issue. All right, so we got to add an encryption key. I'm going to go ahead and do that right now, but I'm going to put the code outside bounds. That way you don't see my private keys and stuff like that. All right. Just going to grab this thing. My throat is horrible. Let's see. Boom. What? All right. I just made an encryption key. I'm going to see what happens here. Now, what? what's I don't know what's going on there. Let's see. Now let's sign out and let's sign back in. All right, just to make sure everything is kosher. So on sign in, this method should fire and it should create a wall for that user. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, it does not. Invalid key length. Um, let's give that a try. I think in my crypto, IV length. Okay. Let me create an encryption key of this length. All right. Forgot. Let's see. Boom. Great. All right. All right. So that should take care of that. That should really take care of that. All right. Come on. All right. So we got some sort of error. Let's see what that's about. This is a very one. This is a very interesting one. Let's see. Just log in when it works. Hmm. All right. So invalid key length. Are you kidding me? All right. So it's failing here. I know that for a fact. Um, Crypto line 147. Why does it do this? All right, let's see if I'm doing some weird stuff here. Encryption key. Oh, that's interesting. All right. So it appears that my length is incorrect. Let's give that a try. I'm going to create a new key here and see if that does a trick. All right. Let's see if that does the trick. All right. We're going to check that out. Ah, okay. So this is probably some of the account already funded to starting balance. Interesting. I'm not sure what this is related to, but I think it's related to these lines right here. We don't really need it immediately, so we're just going to stop that one right there. Maybe even just move it within the blocks they actually work with, just for just to make sure everything's good. Jesus. All right. Oh, okay. So this right here is probably what the issue is, because you have to fund the test account before you actually get that going, which is interesting. Anyways, that's probably it right there. Let's go ahead and try to sign in. Hmm? Interesting. So we got rid of the other error, which was basically, crashing out because of the size of my encryption key. Now I got another error relating to some foreign key constraint, which kind of is weird. Let's check this out. That's weird. Why would there be a constraint foreign key user violated? Why we have the user? I'm not sure I really understand. Um, let's see, what could it be? I'm gonna print this user ID out. Let's see what's going on here. That's a really weird issue right there. What? What is going on here? It's very weird. Um, let's check something out. So, did I run the migration? Yeah. Okay. Drop constraints. Okay. um, okay. That's not, no, we don't want to create a user here. This is probably not the way. Mm, 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 mm. Maybe I already created that user. Let's check that out. Let's see. No, no such thing. What about users? What? There's not even users. Okay, that makes sense. There's not even users or organizations or nothing on this particular. It's really blank. Hmm. Hmm. That makes sense. So at the point of sign in, um, we don't actually have a user, and therefore it's erroring out. So why? Because it didn't hit me, but there was no user at the point, so this should not run. So if there's no DB user with this user ID, we should just leave it as that. Actually, I'll even go a step further here. There is no user ID, then we just have to return here because there's really nothing we can do. Yeah, I mean, this is actually why this is failing. There's not much we can do here. This first run around is where this thing tries to kind of load something, but there's nothing there. So this is going to skip over all the pieces relating to that wallet stuff, at least for the initial one, right? Let's see if that does the trick. Access denied. Okay, what what is this access denied? Okay, so does it have a user ID? What is this user ID? I'm curious now. And we're going to make sure that we. All right. All right, so that worked. We can probably see that the user record is created. The wallet was not created. So we logged in, but we didn't create a wallet. Um, that's a very interesting thing. And moreover, the user ID shown here is not the user ID shown here. That's a very interesting thing because it seems like this user ID, I incorrectly set it as the ID that we're supposed to pick up, but this is not it. This is like this user ID that we get as a profile from Google. Let's see what's going on here. And we're going to log out and log back in. All right, so this profile one looks like a token. Um, yeah, this looks like an open ID token kind of thing. Just basic information thing. So this user one really is something else. I'm not even sure what it is. What about account? What about account? Let's look at that account. Oh no, display my access stuff. They're not really good here. All right, so this gives me my fair auth token kind of thing. Um, yeah, I probably shouldn't be streaming that information, but fuck it. Not much you could do there. Mainly because the account is tied to view records, so unless the only thing you want to get is my email, you'll be fine. And basic OpenID stuff, which you probably already know my name. Okay, so none of these actually give me the user that we're expecting, right? That's basically here what's going on. And so that brings a very interesting point of view because this is an ID I was checking to see, but this is not the ID that is actually part of that user object. Hmm. Okay, so let's read the docs here. Okay, so this actually now is a bit of a pickle for me because this is wrong right here. This on sign in is actually wrong, which is very weird because this isn't um, the user we're expecting. This is some other user ID. It probably is the user ID from Google because it doesn't match the record that we're seeing here. So that makes no sense whatsoever. Um, this user account. So, okay. Interesting. This is very interesting. So, all right. Um, so I guess we're gonna have to load the database user, not by this email ID, but I mean the user ID, but by email. So, I mean it's not the greatest, but let's actually load by user ID. Actually, let's okay. There we go. This is probably a bug we've had for a very long time. We just never caught it. That was very confusing. I really thought that user ID was the one that we're referencing. It appears we're not, which explains a lot. It really does. And that's fine. Let's see what happens when we actually try to get these things going. All right. So we have gone into this area. You see this now. Looks like it's creating all the stuff really required. Uh, and should have created the wallet. So it did. So we have it. That was a very interesting thing. We see the private key that's been encrypted. This is the encrypted private key. Um, right? This is not the regular private key. We have encrypted that private key. I mean, this is probably overkill, but the reality is we want to make sure that if the user or some hacker gets to our database, they're just going to get a bunch of encrypted keys that they can't really use, right? And that's fine, right? That's fine. So yeah, that takes care of that particular scenario. Now we want to make a wallet for an organization, right? And we're probably going to activate that wallet the moment that it's actually. But for now, let's save this very quick. That'll work. Oh, by the way, I got some Husky hooks running. That's why it's taking forever. Um, it's a long time. Could be because I'm streaming. All right, we'll be right back in about 5 minutes, guys.
All right. I'm back. By the way, I see one of y'all is connected. Feel free to send a message, say hi in the chat, and feel free to share this with your friends. Trying to make sure that more people understand how like software engineering and stuff happens behind the so it was not just miracles, it's actual um, yeah, check some email stuff. Check my box. I'm gonna post this on Twitter. See if anybody wants to. Okay. All right. Continuamos. So ahora, well, we have to go ahead and make it so that when we create an organization, we have to uh, create that wallet, right? We have to activate it because the user is going to want to deposit money right off the bat, right? They're going to want to go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and figure out how to do that. Some create organization. So let's look for that method. go. Right here. Excellent. So no biggie. I think we could just use a simple callback here. With matches and have here. So all right. So these two lines will create the actual wallet. So this method creates the wallet, creates the organization, then creates the wallet, bro. So no magic here. We tie it to an organization using the org ID. And then what we should be doing is really grabbing this particular wallet and activating it. But we don't really know how to do that. This is a test. So let's see. Let's go to uh, wallet. And there was this method here that I had, fun test account. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to uh, let's do your activations. Wow. Authenticate wallet. Activate account. I wonder if activate account and fund account are the same. Let's see. Okay, interesting. So, all right. So let's run that account. Um, I'm guessing destinations. Whatever. Let's leave that. So here we're going to go ahead and say fund test account. Actually, we're not going to activate. Now, do we have to activate the account and fund it? I mean, this doesn't actually go into detail, but we need to check that out because if one second. All right. So one of the things that I kind of forgot to do, I think we should have done. Let's see, let's see, let's see. One second. All right. So actually, this is interesting. So actually, okay. So it does activate the um, the thing. So I mean, I think basically we know that hey, this public key will be activated. Now, here's the funny part. We need to have a system key pair that activates the account. And actually, one of the most interesting things about an account, right, is that it can have it can be managed by other accounts. So it's almost like a multi-sig wall, which is really cool. Honestly, really really cool because it kind of has a lot of the stuff that we built that we've seen in the Ethereum that's built around that. The need, right? They created an account abstraction with smart contract rather than natively doing it. So Stellar is really, in terms of how far and how good these things are. I mean, Stellar's been doing a phenomenal job in terms of being able to understand the actual needs of the customer, right? So yeah, I mean, I think this is really cool. So we need to develop a key pair for our usage, right? For us, and the way we're going to do that, actually, and then we're going to fund that particular one with all the Stellar. That way, it activates all the accounts. So this method right here, which is fund testnet account, is actually fund and activate if it's not already done so. So very nice little quirk that needs to happen. Now we know how to make it happen. So my question here is, how do I generate that key pair? Um, I guess I could just uh, I'll do something simple. All right. um, I can do the key pair here, and then I'll just throw an error. Um, yeah, I'll do before. So basically, I'm gonna force this failure to happen, and I'm gonna go ahead and just print out the key pair, and then just put it as an environment variable within my own system. That way, it is the system-wide key pair that I can use to go, fund itself. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that. Mm, oh, did I? Okay. So I left wallet.ts with some right here. Should be at the bottom here. What? I don't really have an error here, so that's interesting. Is this for real? I don't think so. I think there's something wrong. Um, is there another wallet? No, this is the only one. So why would it be doing that? No, there's something broken here. What's going on? All right, nothing magical, but it's saying that there's some sort of error. Huh? Okay. What about you? That's another issue. So let's I don't know, use some cache issue or something. All right, let's see. All right, so that was some sort of cache issue. Looks like it. Huh? Why is it not? Okay, now that took a while, but whatever. All right. Oh. Oh. Wait a second. That is interesting. Um. Okay. Interesting. Looks like when you go ahead and do some setting or some getting, it, it's actually a buffer that comes back. So is this a method? Okay. Interesting. Is this how they're supposed to look like? They're really short, I'll tell you that much. But let's see.
Hmm. All right, so this is the length of the things that we have. So we're going to go ahead and save those into our environment fold file. Um, okay, so again, no magic here. Basically, went ahead and created a public key from just creating a key pair here and then console logging that stuff right here. No magic there. The keys were a lot smaller than I imagined, so that was really interesting. It's not like that Ethereum key where it's like, I don't know, 80 characters or 100, whatever. So that was interesting. Went ahead and added that to my environment variables so that we can now reference them. And we do that because we want to go ahead and and get that going. Uh, let's see. Right. Now let's export a sync function, uh, get system wallet. And this is just going to give us the system wallet in the form of the account pairs. So we can just say public key, account key. Um, and this is actually just going to be process dot public key and then secret key. And actually it's going to be PKSK. Um, I hate it when these AIs just erase things that are not supposed to. All right. This will give us the information we need because in the end, the only thing you really pass through some of these methods is really the secret key, so you can do the signing and whatnot. The rest of the magic really happens at the class level from Stellar. So let's see what that does. That okay, create the key pair. And what I'm gonna do here too, and this is probably gonna come to a shock to everybody, but I'm gonna want to go ahead and do. Wait, does this actually work? No, doesn't take any account. So this is wrong. I don't know how or why the AI kind of assumes that there's some method here. That's not how it works. So what I want to do is system account and account dot no, it's stellar. Sorry, stellar dot fun test account. And obviously this is like not really okay. Here we go. So when I call this get system wallet, um, this should fund the account, right? Let's see if that does that trick.
no. See, and this is it, right? Like this activate account, okay, remains the same because nothing really has to change. And this system wallet should try to do something. So the original account is this one, and the new account is the keep here, right? So this keep here is now that new wallet. The system wallet is the one that's being. Oh, all right. Let's see. Um, well, looks like we have to get the typing right. So let's see. Is there some sort of. Gotta find the right method, right? Huh. Ah, okay. So I could just create this. Um, return new. There. Wow. Oh, okay. So maybe just do this. So just so everybody knows, I'm just trying to get the right type here. All right. There we go. That takes care of that. So now in our keep here, we should be giving, um, and we could just new account keep here. See, that takes care of that. So just for reference, basically, we have a new account keep here uh, that we created right here. And this account keep here is the system account keep here. We should probably return it as is. Let's do that because it's going to save us a bunch of problems here. All right, maybe that'll do it. There's probably an easier way to do this. Um, I don't know. Maybe let's see. Account key pair. See that? No. Key public signing key pair. Key pair. All right, that's pretty much what I had originally. All right, whatever. I think this will do it. I mean, I don't see any typing issues, so that should take care of that. All right, so we're gonna try to make it so that this actually funds the test account, and we're gonna do the same thing we did last time, which is just try to move some stuff around. So let's go ahead and do that, and then throw. All right, cool. All right, my expectation is that the wallet will be funded. Let's see. Secret key length is invalid. All right. What is going on here? Um, wow. I'm gonna have to check to see if I did the right thing. System waters, okay. Well, we didn't get any error for trying to go ahead and add more or fund the test account. We got an error for another thing. Let's see. All right, we got the error for the funding test account, which means this test account has been funded. Now, as far as private key, I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. Um, let's check the Stellar documentation.
Tapos kailan su novento lang susunod.
Oh yeah. Let me just. All right, guys. I'm gonna stop streaming for a while. I'll get back to this in a few hours, and we can take it from there. But my account has been funded. We are getting some error relating to some key pair stuff. Just got to read the docs and how to actually, create a account from the key pair that I got. So we'll take it from there, and then we'll see how that goes. Um, yeah, yeah. I think create organization is a user. Yeah, very cool. All right, sounds good. See you guys.